My upstairs neighbor is a model for how people can work together, listen to each other, work stuff out. He's in his 80s. He's much older than me, so he's lived a long time. He's learned a lot, I'm sure, about people and how to get along with people. And he wants to know any time I'm upset about something, or I need him to do something different, or I don't like what he's doing, or, anything. He wants to know anything that he may be doing that might be interfering with my life, or that I need him to do differently. And I want the same with him, because what he has taught me is how to work it out and really listen to each other with the spirit of how can we work this out together and make it work for both of us, which means nothing gets in the way in terms of things that are tied into, as I talked about in the last video, pride or identity or anything like that. All of that gets set aside and doesn't even have any meaning. It doesn't even come into play anywhere, because when someone meets you in the spirit of how can we make this better, how can we make it work for both of us, then that is the foundation of true partnership, where two people can come together in their uniqueness to offer each other the strengths and the wisdom that they each have that is unique and different to each of them, and support one another. It's the most amazing thing. A lot of times when we get along with other people, we're not actually getting along. One person is expressing themselves and the other person is suppressing themselves. And then there's resentment, because there's not open communication. And people are afraid of open communication because we're afraid we're going to trigger people. We're afraid they're not going to be able to handle it if we have an issue with something they're doing. And we can't look at it like an issue. We can say to ourselves, hey, here's a thing that's happening that you're doing or not doing that has to be done differently because it's affecting me. How is it affecting me? So you just think of, hey, I can express how this is affecting me. And if that other person comes in the spirit of, oh, I really want to know how that's affecting you so that I can do it differently, or we can do it differently, let's figure it out. That is always his approach, and it's beautiful. And it means that it's always my approach as well. And so we get along so well, and I'm learning a lot from him, and I think he's learning a lot from me, maybe, about how we can do this together and how we can support each other and how we can communicate as honestly and openly as possible. And I love that I can tell him, if he has like a little neurosis, or even if I have a little neurosis, if he has a little neurosis about something, I can point it out to him, and he'll go, oh, yeah, thank you for pointing that out to me. I'm going to think about that, or I'm going to, do it a different way. Or, one time he asked if he could have a specific parking spot, like if he could park in a specific spot in our bigger parking lot, which isn't very big. And I said to him, I don't think that would be very good for you, because then you're going to get really attached to your parking spot. And then if somebody comes and parks there, somebody comes to visit or whatever, and they park in your spot, that's not going to feel very good to you, et cetera, et cetera. I made the suggestion because that was my first thought when he asked that. And he does tend to get a little bit set in his ways, and I'm a challenge to that, and he accepts that challenge. He appreciates that challenge. So I challenged him on that, and he agreed. And what happens is he mostly parks in his favorite spot. If he's here first, he parks in his favorite spot, but he doesn't get upset or bent out of shape if I park in that spot or somebody else does, because it's not his spot. That's just an example of, you know, kind of overcoming our attachment to different ideas and allowing suggestions to be made by each other of where we might potentially get over-attached to something that could cause problems between us. So, I'm sharing that because I have an eye toward, you know, the world that we are trying to create, where we are putting all the pieces together to you know, offer what we're best at, support each other in the ways that we're best at, and to receive each other and see each other and recognize each other's uniqueness, and really make use of the fact that we are all unique and bring different things to the table for each other, and that we can operate as a high-functioning whole that allows all the pieces of that whole to thrive. That's the model. So anyway, thank you for listening, and try this out with other people that you know, because whoever goes first in their openness of saying, hey, I want to know it all, lay it out on the table and we'll figure it out, that person changes the way other people come to the table. Because if you have that kind of openness, if you have that kind of willingness and excitement about coming together, well, it's contagious, obviously, and you know, the way you operate is going to affect the way other people operate. I think you know that. Anyway, thank you for listening. Thank you for coming. I'm very happy to have you here.